a lawyer to send letters to people and tell them to shut up. You know? And when he wants to stand up and tell us, the deficit is at $37 trillion, and you go, yeah, and how much of that did you get for your bars when you had COVID going on? You were right there with your hand out, taking the check.
How are we gonna do this today? I don't want
I'm assuming we're gonna.
anybody's way.
Oh, let's see.
Taking those back. Just like in church, if you, I like to sit in different spots. My husband likes the same spot. He said, if you sit someplace else, you're taking somebody else's spot. Hey, well. Hi, Bill.
How you doing? Hello.
Oh, would you want one of these?
I know you don't have access to internet.
Oh, thank you.
It is online on the website, but,
Thank you.
the
I meant to bring that paper about the district library, the formation of it, rules, guidelines. Time got away from me today. District library, I guess you can get it online, but I'm not online. So
Hi, John.
Hello, ladies.
I don't know what's going on my computer, because I saved the article that I'm writing for a newsletter for a motorcycle. And I can't find it.
it's all charts and graphs.
But I thought
I hate charts
I
and
must have
graphs.
misspelled it. But I don't want to go through every file, but I'm probably gonna have to.
I mean, you can't find it like.
I can't find it to attach it to send it to the editor.
Cheryl, I have to have that back. Sorry. I thought Kara made me, four copies. Yeah, 4 copies is more than I'll get you one though if you.
Alrighty.
Oh, I know why I thought, because you already have one,
Yes.
right? So you could give yours to Cheryl if you want. Yeah, but
We're gonna talk about,
Huh?
we're gonna talk about.
No, I just thought, we could commit to reading it before our next meeting, because we got a big break in between this one and our next meeting.
It's in the policy. I'm aware of it, but I can't see it somewhere.
It's okay. You can just have that one, for Cheryl. And
It's my fault.
I'm gonna set close outside.
Not again.
We're such creatures of habit. Yeah, shake it up, guys.
Oh,
District in the morning.
Yeah.
I want to, but you have to register and pay for it. Thing. It's only $5.
You know, the thing they sent me, you know, has a QR code. But it's small, sometimes I can't read it off my phone. So I wanted to date it.
What date is that? The 3rd?
It does, it says you cannot get it.
what is it?
You have-
It's they're gonna have different reps there that are running.
No, it's Everybody running for governor, I think. I don't know.
No, the Secretary of State, which,
Oh, that's true.
yeah, yeah.
That's true. I can tell you in a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna
Find it.
I didn't register for it anyway. I wanted to.
I tried to.
It's kind of like a meet and greet.
There's that.
Thank you.
Questions.
Okay, doors open at 5:30, meeting at 6:30. Yeah, I guess most register and pay online in advance.
So nobody's on that.
There's a land you can sign.
Is this for me?
Yes.
You understand sarcasm and humor, and you know the difference. It's small, isn't it?
Yeah. I got another phone now.
It's very effective tool sometimes. It's a very effective tool sometimes.
It can be an effective tool if you're not dealing with the tools. Again, there's that fine line.
I'm that already.
First day of Lapeer schools. How about your daughter? Did she start a week earlier?
She started Thursday last week.
There's a fall. So they had to start after Labor Day. Yeah, can you remember that?
That would be,
Like 10
yeah,
years ago,
that
right?
would be
Yeah,
great.
Guardian still does.
They don't
Really?
do that.
Well, remember
No.
they made it a law that then schools they can apply for a waiver. I don't know
We
if
should
they
just wait. But then the kids have to wait longer to get out.
yeah.
Right.
The Guardian's still there.
That makes more sense. Let them have the last hurrah on Labor Day weekend.
It's just so nice that time.
Kelly didn't say anything about running late.
I didn't hear from her. Did she?
Nope. She's on her way. This side of the expense. You're talking about like this one.
I like the printing services, you mean?
For the survey. And everything involved in that. phosphorus.
Mhm.
Said they didn't know, but based on only 100 meters, we didn't know this was added to the city.
There she is.
Not at all.
Hi, sorry guys. My family says I'd be late for my own funeral.
Oh, we know you're busy. We were just reading through this and
The strategic plan?
yeah, but I thought, before our next meeting, maybe we could all connect to just reading through it, just to get familiar with it. Go ahead and start the meeting. Yeah, through 12. I guess not every library does it, the larger libraries will. Kara said that Danielle had, she had started contracting for it to be done again, because I guess this was for 3 years. But that's on hold, so. And that little disclaimer is in my head. Oh, no. Okay, we are the Lapeer District Library Policy and Bylaw Ad Hoc Committee. The committee will review current library bylaws and policies. This committee serves as an advisory committee only. Any recommendations for changes, additions, or deletions to the current policies and bylaws by this committee will be brought first to the LDL Corporate Council for legal review and then to the full board. This ad hoc committee does not have decision-making authority and will function as an advisory committee only. Yeah, so if we all can just commit to looking through this, at least we have a little bit of a time span before our next meeting, so hopefully we can all just take a look at it. And then I thought we could start by just revisiting the bylaws, if anybody's thought of anything they want to add, or if anything's come up since our last meeting. See how Kelly's doing with this one.
This weekend I didn't get a chance, and then
It's
I
fine.
was,
We did just meet a few days
Yeah.
ago, so, yeah.
only because I had pre-plans this week, and so, but other than that, yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Something I did forget about is Harry's motion that, I gave you guys copies before, but this has, I guess it's a little easier to read because it has in red his proposed changes. So myself, John, and Carol will remember at the meeting, he made this motion, and it got voted down, but I did tell him that I would bring it to the committee. And one of the reasons I said is because we had formed this committee, and I thought I just wanted to wait and let us look it over and decide as a committee if we wanted to move forward as a recommendation. So that was one of the things I wanted to kind of backtrack on the bylaws.
I wonder why he didn't want to be on the committee. I wonder why he didn't want to be on the committee.
I don't know.
He did have an opportunity.
Right.
Where Carrie and I were never offered any opportunities to be on any.
Okay.
So he wanted these 3 different,
Yeah,
items,
it looks like,
and they're just all 3 additions,
it
and no
looks like it's all
subtractions.
3 additions, so.
Did he print this out, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was part of his motion, yeah, he printed out, and, I'll just tell the, non-board members how, Carol, I think you said something about one of them being like repetitive. Yeah, and his comment was, not word for word, but I'm paraphrasing, but really close to what he said is, yeah, it's redundant, but I don't trust you, or something like that, so he felt it needed to be repeated, I guess, the verbiage, but.
Which one?
It's my understanding, I don't remember which one did you comment on, Carol?
Pretty much
All of them? Yeah.
Well, 1 and 2 for sure, or I mean, 4 in section 4, agenda, section 7, board action.
Because it's my understanding that anything that has to do with changing the bylaws, you have to do it in writing.
Prior.
And that prior to, you can't just bring it up, so.
Yeah, you can't just make it up at a board meeting.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to stay true to my word that I would bring it up and we can read it carefully and talk about it and decide from
I don't see any reason to have redundant things.
there. So. Yeah, like the first one, more, it doesn't even really fit there. Cause it's just about, it's about.
The first one's just
The
about
agenda.
proposed agenda.
Yeah, and
And the
how,
other one
so many days, yeah.
is regarding policies and bylaws.
Which you already have that one. So,
It's, yeah, and I'm just checking, like, section, Article 6, meeting, section 4, agenda. That is all it says, except, you know,
Right.
we added the.
red.
Red, proposing stuff in red. And then section 7.
What article is that? They're all.
That is, yeah, it's all Article 6, section 7. And again, it's stuff in red. Proposing to add. And then the last one. Article 9. Amendments.
I thought it already had, because I'm missing where it is, but I thought it already stated it had to be at the previous board meeting.
Right here, yeah, so he's, section 1, it says no change to the language, and this is the language. These bylaws may be amended at a regular meeting of the library board by a majority vote of all board members qualified and serving, provided the amendment was presented in writing at the previous regular meeting.
Right, so that's already in there, so
Yeah,
I
so-
don't know why we need to have it twice. I mean, you,
Yeah,
the whole idea of bylaws is not to make it a booklet.
right, great, good point. It's like, I don't see where we get add any of this, since we have them all anyway.
And then this one's under section 1. So he wants to add a section,
Right,
no change to that one, which is not really a section, but it's just a
Right,
paragraph,
well,
but
it
I
would-
think he would make
it
it.
would become a
be-
section if
right.
we had an addition to it. But it does seem like all three of them are
Just repeating all three,
repeating, yeah.
which is already in there, so I guess I don't see why.
I would recommend that we reject these recommendations, because they're already in here too.
If it wasn't in here, I would
Yeah,
definitely,
it's
you know,
not-
I mean,
I
I
know,
think
it's
it's a
not-
good
yeah.
thing,
I do too.
you know, because then it gives time for research. I'm all about, you know, doing research to make sure that, you know, what you want, what is being presented, you have time to research it instead of just voting on it right then.
Right,
But if it wasn't in there, I would think it was a, you know, a good suggestion. I just don't think it needs to be in there 4 times.
right.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel it's something I would recommend. Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to revisit as far as the bylaws, and, the other thing will come into play when we get into the policies as far as the public speaking. But when we had talked about, changing the first public comment time to be something that is only on the agenda. And then the second public time can be anything. Right now, our public speaking policy says that you can only speak one time. And if we change it to that, to be specific in the first public time, I don't think it's fair to leave it at one, that you only get to speak once. But you're only if it's something relating to the agenda.
Right, but if not, then they can make it on the second one, and they can even speak something of the agenda there, and whatever else they want to say.
But what I'm saying is right now our public comment is you can speak at the first one or the second one,
Right.
but not both. And I'm kind of following the guidelines of like how the county does it. When they change that to you can only speak the first public time, something that's on the agenda. But they always had you could speak at both times, but I mean, that's just my thought, so. And we're not, it doesn't specify that in the bylaws, but when we get to the public speaking, including.
Are you talking about just speaking once, either the first or the second? Is that what you're saying?
Right now, that's how it is.
Right.
So currently it is, you can only speak at one public time. If you speak at the first one, you can't speak at the second.
That's how it is, but it's not written in the policies and the bylaws that way.
Well, if we talked about adding to the bylaws that the first public speaking would be agenda item only. Well, I guess would that even go in the bylaws? Or would that just be something in the policy? This is just the order.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So.
That's just the order of the agenda.
So I guess you can table that until we get to that spot.
Speaking about that, I think that's probably maybe a good thing. That way, because if somebody, why should you limit somebody in that first comment section? Because they might have something other than about the agenda that they want to speak about. And let them get that, off their shoulders at that, whether it's the first or the second. That way they're just speaking the one time, but they're able to do what they want to do during that time. Because otherwise then, it's, if you're having multiple people speak both times, one on the agenda and one not, I mean, the meetings could last till, I don't know, forever.
Right.
So I think leaving it up to that person, but, just leaving it the way that it is, that they get the opportunity to either speak at the first or the second one. Right.
We could talk about both things.
Right, either or.
Yeah, or if they.
Combine their 3 minutes to.
No, I would keep it the way that it is, just that, they could speak at either one. That way they're able to make that choice, but that way they're speaking only at one and not at both. I like that suggestion.
I support it.
Instead of limit.
You could speak at both. How do you feel, Carol?
I think once is enough.
Well, the only thing is then, are you giving them 3 minutes in both of them?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm just saying, at the end of the day.
I think the idea, Bill, did that happen when we were there at the county? Did they change that, or was that after? Okay. I think the idea of that was so that if people were there for an agenda item, a lot of times there's people from the community that get up and answer questions for the commissioners, so that you could do that, speak your piece, and leave if you needed to, and not be present for the whole meeting. That would be my only thought. Why would you do that?
Yeah, and see, there's a lot of municipalities that only have one public time, whether it's at the beginning or at the end. So this is actually giving somebody 2 different options, that they
But not if we're limiting it to
one.
Not if we're limiting your first one to an agenda item.
No, I'm like
Giving you
saying,
the
no, I'm
freedom.
saying I would remove that and just have it public time,
Like it is now.
like it is now.
So.
Let them
Okay,
have their
well, then
choice.
That's fine with me then, I mean, I would agree with that, but we had said
We
that we
did.
were talking about changing it, so.
Yep, I agree. But after you said that, I agree, they should be able to speak during either public time of what they're wanting to speak and what they're wanting to say, but, you know, as long as it's respectful and.
Do we wanna start our, cause that's all, well, did you guys have any more about bylaws? Anything else you wanted to add, or that we've already talked about, or?
I still think we should do it like the commissioners do, just limit the first one, anything on the agenda, and then the second one, whatever they want to talk about. I still think it gives everybody the opportunity to talk about both, if they want to wait till the second one. Or if they want to talk about what's on the agenda, then they can leave, and then sit through the whole meeting
Right,
to the very end.
exactly.
You know, so I mean, people that are there for reasons of,
It makes the board meeting go faster, just you get to the agenda, get through the meeting
Right.
without having to listen to stuff that isn't relevant to that point of it.
But as a person in the public, if you had something that you wanted to talk about that's on the agenda, and that would take 3 minutes,
yeah, but
and then
a
you
lot
had
of boards
something
only
else
have
that you
one.
had to say.
you know,
Right, well, that,
I mean, we
guess
still
I
have
didn't
two.
think about it that way,
I mean-
that there's a lot of places only.
Right, we have a lot of people that come to our meetings.
Okay, do you guys want to start with the public speaking policy, because we're on to policies now?
Sure.
Start with that. So, we should all have that. Oops.
Yep.
Maybe it's like the second one.
Yeah.
So it's public.
So I guess just go through it line by line as we did with the.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna highlight it that way. Shows that's the one we're working
Oh, it's- Well, item 1, the purpose is pretty straightforward, everybody will okay with that.
Right.
Okay, so item 2, public comment period, meeting minutes. First thing I see that, I don't know that we do have a copy of the agenda there.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking that. too.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything.
One
It's
up
just
there.
so we should make sure that we start doing that.
And that's
least
just
one.
procedural, yeah.
Yeah,
Normally you have a few, so as people are coming in, there's, you know, a few agendas there, and then you have one.
yeah, I just
I
don't
mean,
think
because you don't
it's-
really have a podium.
Right.
People stand up there, but to me, that could be up there by,
Well, we might at our new place, you know, there's like.
Right, and if not, we could post from there.
right, but it could be somewhere, and whether it's taped on and say this is, you know,
So that's-
for the general public, you know. I think that's,
Especially if we only want them to talk about it first one, things on the agenda, we better have the agenda.
yeah, so, or they just on the website, correct?
Yeah, they are available online, but
But still,
and it's not always, easy for everyone to find, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So that's just procedural.
would we, so we would recommend that we have at least X amount of agendas printed. You guys want to say at least 10?
I would say 15, just with the crowd that's there. I think that would be good to have. And, I mean, I know that this, but to me, just because of paying the bills, this should have been two-sided. And because we're working on it, I probably wouldn't have done it in color either, just because we're gonna be marking this up, so we don't really need it necessarily in color. Just saving money, because.
Well, I saved money, I printed mine from home.
Yeah.
And then when I went in to
Right.
get copies from Kara, she said, she's like, well, I'll just print it off the website if that's what you have.
Right.
And so that's why hers turned out.
Right, but you can ask it to print double-sided. I'm just saying, because the
Right,
cost of
yeah.
paper is horrendous right now.
Yeah.
I can't believe the cost of what a ream of paper is anymore. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And especially, you know, she's probably doing FOIAs and whatever. That's
Yeah.
just something to be mindful
Yeah.
when you're spending public money. I know that's what I look at.
Yeah. The agendas will be hopefully shorter.
Yeah, but even if they are two-page, it can be on just one
Yeah.
page.
Right.
So
Right.
it can be front and back. That's all I was getting.
Yeah. And so here it does say library board will include at least one public comment period. So we have that covered.
Right. And B is fine. And so let's see. I agree.
So, and John, are you
Yes,
have any recommendations for A, B, and C, or good with that?
I like it.
Says that each speaker must provide his or her name and address. You know, at the county, we had those green slips of paper people had to fill out.
Where are you at?
Section B,
Yeah.
rules of public comment. And, doing those, filling out those sheets would be a good idea.
Yeah, some of them just refuse to do it. Save there for us.
Though they say that, they say it's against the Open Meetings Act, but if it's in your policy, it is not. So if it's in your policy that somebody is to fill that out, then that is actually the way that they are supposed to do it. If it's not in the policy, then they can, it's up to their discretion.
Okay.
But it's in our policy that they have to provide it, so
Right.
Right.
I'll just add that.
Well, the practice has been just renaming the township. I don't remember anybody saying like their full address. I suppose you could, but,
At our township meetings, it's required. Your name and address. Ours too, you're supposed to sign in. But even when you're speaking.
so are we saying to leave B as it is, no recommendations?
The state commissioner, so that way too. Sign in the speeches right on the podium. Any thoughts? But, I don't know, if we're not gonna enforce it, we should have it in the policy.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering because we have had people that say no, that they're not gonna give it.
Bill, where are you seeing
Get
that?
into-
Oh, you already did this one.
Yeah, he
I
moved
thought
that.
he said this one, so.
We didn't do
Because I thought you were.
Yeah, he moved that.
Okay. 'Cause I thought you were like, I was down here too reading, but I thought you were asking questions about here, and I'm like reading it again and again. I'm like, okay, I'm not.
No, I was a little further down, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. I was just answering her question, but,
So when we bring our recommendations to the full board, well, first, run it by corporate counsel, we could get their opinion on that.
Right.
And then, after that, we could recommend to the full board, either we enforce it or remove it.
right. Well, and from everything that I've read from the Open Meetings Act, if it's in your policy, then that's how it's supposed to go.
Right.
And like this, the next line says, no person in attendance may make a comment without being recognized. So until they do that, they're not being recognized to speak, so they don't have the floor to speak. So that would just be something that would have to be addressed at that time.
And some people may not want to actually say their address publicly, so doing the slip of paper allows them to, fulfill this policy without actually having to,
Right.
publicly say their address and where they live.
Huh, that's
People only understood what everything is so public. I mean, I can get what your mortgage is, I can get what your tax base is, I can get what you paid in your taxes, that's all public information.
I just say some people are worried about it. Just
I
saying
understand
Yeah.
that, because a lot of people don't understand that all of that stuff is so public,
right.
so,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it easier to enforce it, make people be more comfortable, just fill out the paper instead of speaking it.
right.
That's all
I
I'm
agree,
getting
I think that would give a level of feeling maybe their privacy, whether it is or isn't, but that they have to submit that, but who are they going to submit it to? I know
at. Just
normally
give it to
it's,
the secretary, it's what they do at the commission. They give
right,
it to
that's,
the
I'm
clerk.
just saying that it has to be noted on who's, gonna get that before, right? Because then the setup would have to be a little bit different, kind of like how it is, I would think, like at the county, how she's off maybe to the side opposed to up there.
Just whoever's recording your minutes can be responsible for collecting those.
Right. I'm just saying, to make it easier for anybody speaking, instead of having to go way up to come way back to speak. Like the county, it's kind of like on your way up. Right. But most people
And then it
do.
would be, it would be the chairperson that recognizes it. So, well, if you wanted to be the secretary, that could be me. I could always just sit on the end, and then pass it along, and the chairperson would recognize it. So, are we then saying that we want to recommend that the name and address of each speaker is recorded on paper?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would maybe give them a level of privacy that they, even though it's, still public information.
Right.
I mean, that still even would be FOIA information. I mean, if somebody wanted FOIA who was there and who spoke, you have to still give them that information,
Yeah, my county has it signed in, but you don't really enforce it. Like, you're asked to sign in, but if you don't, nobody monitors that, well, you're not signed in, so you can't speak.
So for us, if they get up to speak, they're asked to say their name and address.
What do you do if they say no?
That's not my call, because I'm
Yeah.
not the supervisor.
Right.
And what does your supervisor do? Some that can't speak.
Nothing.
Nothing. Didn't enforce
But you have to enforce stuff if you want it to be because to me, it has to be the same for everybody.
Right.
So regardless of what it is, it doesn't matter if you expect one person to do it, everybody needs to.
Yeah, no, that's
Or
true.
if you don't want anybody to do it, then don't have anybody do it.
Right.
It's either a free for all or,
I agree with that.
Same thing about the policy, we're not gonna enforce it, we need to get that out,
right,
get
exactly.
that out of here, so.
I like the written paper. I mean, I know it's a little bit more invasive, but I do think, you know, that some people like not to give that information out
Oh,
even though,
wow, yeah,
right.
that's fine by me.
Okay, so our recommendation would be to
Provide his
keep
or
it-
his name and address.
We would want to keep the as is, but add in writing.
Right.
Is that okay according to the open meetings act? Could find that out, I'm assuming, through our attorney.
Yeah, it's,
Can ask-
yeah.
ask that.
Yeah, whether it's in writing or whether they verbally say it or verbally say it. I added slips will be provided.
I'm good to see the. Okay, so everybody read A and
As I was going
it's
to
fine, because we kind of skipped over that. Yeah. No suggestions for changes to see. You guys wanna just keep reading, and then if you find something you wanna recommend, and
Well,
let
D
us
is,
know what section.
right, D is, I mean, is that the one, because right now it's each speaker is entitled to 1 3-minute during any public comment per meeting and not to split time or give the time to another speaker.
I'm good with that,
Okay, that means they get to speak at one and not the other.
right.
Okay. He is fine. And then F, we already took out a lot of that language. Correct. Oh yeah, that is, I thought that's the one. It
Right,
is.
yep. Yep, we should all have a copy of the
Amendment.
amended one.
Usually it should say the library, the secretary. So
Are you
was-
on?
I'm on I, It's because the minutes are the secretary's minutes. So it shouldn't be, to me, it shouldn't be the library board, it should be the library secretary. Because the minutes from the meeting are the secretary's minutes.
True. Are you guys in agreement on
Well,
It depends on which
I'm
secretary you're
thinking
talking
Well,
Well,
the
let's look
secretary, not the recording secretary. The recording secretary takes the minutes, but the secretary is the one that has the stamp of approval, who's ever in that position, no matter who's in that position. But the minutes are the secretary or the clerk's minutes.
Mhm. So I think this is, when I read this, I feel like this is like a predetermined decision by the board.
But the board is
How-
not responsible for the secretary's minutes.
Right, but in general, like, you're not gonna expect it to be verbatim, but do you include the name of the public speaker, the subject they talked about, like, how much do you include?
But again, that's the secretary's responsibility. If you look at the secretary's responsibility, they're responsible for the minutes, not the whole board. So I guess
Well, this is a may to, the library board may determine.
right, but I still think it should still be that the library secretary
like that.
is to determine the sole discretion on how. Now, the board members can also make suggestions on different things, but it's just like the role of the chairman has certain roles, the role of the secretary, the role of the treasurer, all has certain roles. And the minutes are the secretary's minutes, not the board's minutes. So normally, the minutes are like a synopsis of what the meeting
Right.
is,
Right.
not a full, because otherwise they'd be, 10 pages long.
Are you suggesting to take that part out?
I would suggest to say the library secretary determines that.
The recording secretary
No,
or the
the
secretary?
secretary.
The board secretary.
Yes,
Um,
that is the secretary's responsibility.
Well, the only reason I would like it to stay in there is because if you have a recording secretary, it's not gonna be your same recording secretary, you might get a new recording secretary. And you see consistently that I've seen a couple times where I was like, well, this public comment has a lot of detail. This public comment only has a little bit, and if you see that consistently, somebody might view that as, or could view that as, well,
But again, that's a responsibility. So if you go back to section 3 of the bylaws,
right, I know what you're saying, that it should just be the secretary. I'm disagreeing, that I think it should be, like, if you come to that point where you find, like, say the secretary notices that, then I think it should be the full board's decision to look at it and say, yeah, we should.
The full board can always
kind of
make-
put an outline.
yeah, but the full
of what
board
it should
can
be.
always make a comment that this needs to be added. But
For
again,
each,
the
for-
minutes are the secretary's, not
Alright,
the
so,
board's.
yeah, so the full board does have the final discretion to approve minutes, change it,
Because they could amend it,
take
but
it out, elaborate.
But it still would have to, if they're making changes to the minutes, then it would have to be voted on, because the minutes are to be changed. Because again, the minutes are the secretary, everybody has their role, and to me, this is not the role of the full board, this is the role of the secretary. But, it says, the secretary of the library shall ensure the minutes of the library board meetings and other library records are kept in accordance with Michigan law. So again, it doesn't say the whole library board,
Right.
it's saying that's the responsibility of the secretary. So at a meeting, anybody on the board could say, I would like this maybe to be added. Again, they would have to make a motion, the motion would have to be seconded, and then everybody would vote on the change at that time if they wanted to change. But the minutes, the responsible person, to me, of the minutes should be at the discretion of the secretary, not of the full board. Because this is saying, members of the public shall not expect minutes to include verbatim transcripts. So again,
Right.
the secretary is the one that the full board is not signing the minutes. Have you signed any minutes?
No,
See, that's wrong,
no.
because you should
I
have
was
signed
told
every
that-
minute from every,
I was told that, they're signed off at the end of the year.
you should sign
That's
them.
how they
As soon as
post
they're,
on it.
as soon as they're approved, you should sign. What happens if you're not here? What happens if something, happens to the
Yeah.
secretary? Does that even make sense? No,
Um,
that doesn't make sense.
Well, right now it is, they're going to carry in, the attorney.
Seriously, going to the attorney for minutes, really?
Yeah, that's what,
Why?
that's what they're doing right now.
Why?
I don't know.
That's not.
I can check on this for you and find out why.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of things that, the answers I get is, that's the way we've always done it. So, I mean, but as a, our job as a committee right now, if we can bring that out, like, okay, well, this is what it says, and so far it's not being enforced, but I don't know.
It seems like we're coming across a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
really need to be enforced, studying policy.
Yeah.
So, again, I think
But-
either we need to enforce it or we need to remove it.
I think a lot of it just shows like board involvement, how much, that you want to be involved in your task. So like, I'm the secretary for the VAAA. I'm not the recording secretary. I get the minutes, I review the minutes, I sign them right there, and I have to send them back before that next meeting, showing that they're signed and, now not the unapproved ones. Once they've been
Right.
approved, then I sign, but it's still, I'm not waiting until the end of the year. I mean, what happens, God forbid something happened, and then you have absolutely no minutes signed, that it just doesnn't even make sense to me. You should be signing them within a certain period of time after they've been approved by the full board.
Well, it's probably control.
Right, well, I understand,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
these are things to me that
That can be
procedurally,
concerning, yeah.
you should be signing
Yeah.
them as soon as they're approved. Within a week's time, you should have them signed. They
And
should
that-
be signed and,
That is in our bylaws.
right. I mean, you should be getting them for you to approve them. You're the secretary. Not seeing them is wrong. So, I mean, I'm only one person, but I think that it's not the minutes are the secretaries, not the library boards. Again, at the meeting, the library, anybody on the board can bring a question that they might want something added or something removed. They would have to make a motion at that point. At that point, it would have to be seconded, and then everybody have discussion, and then they could vote on it as a full board. And then they would be amended.
It happens a lot at the city commission meetings. A lot of changes to the minutes.
Yeah.
From board members.
Right,
Really, one of them, I think, creates a mess, says, hey, wait a minute, this is what happened.
right,
I remember it like this, and then they discuss it, and they vote on
right. But they have to make a motion, they have to have a
Well,
second.
So going back to I and the way it's worded, isn't that the case, that they may determine at its sole discretion?
No, because they don't have, that would be after the minutes were done and, in draft form. So that's, at least that's how I take it. I think this secretary is the one that's solely responsible for them until it comes to a meeting. I don't care either way.
Leave it.
Change it.
That's an honesty.
Yeah.
John, Bill, any thoughts?
I'm with Carol, really, it could go either way as far as I'm concerned.
If you change it to secretary, I think you can take, I don't like in its sole discretion, but that's just me. I think the sole discretion meaning, that, so the public doesn't feel that every, if and what, but when they're talking needs to be listed. It's just like the clerk, it's, those minutes are the clerk's minutes.
Yeah, but that's probably why they put board, because of in its sole discretion. Or actually in a meeting, we could change it.
But that's after the fact. The minutes initially are the secretary and or the clerk's.
Well, so we want to suggest changing it to secretary or leaving it board, right? That's what
What do you think?
we're talking about.
Let's just leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
I think it's fine the way it is, because I feel like it's, the fact that it says may determine, and I'm taking it that the board kind of sets that, okay, well, we're not gonna record every minute, we're gonna record, the person's name, what they talked about, and a little bit what they talked about. And then it should be the same for every public comment.
Well, I'm guessing somebody thought that originally and read it that way.
What's
Because
that?
I agree with you, I think it's up to secretary, but somebody wrote it that way because, they wanted the board to, I think, review to a certain extent. Where it talks about expect the minutes to include verbatim transcripts or details of an individual comment. I don't think they wanted all that on the secretary, I'm guessing, when they wrote this. It doesn't matter to me, I'm comfortable either way. But if we need to make a decision, we want to do this.
And it's just a decision on recommending.
Right,
Right.
I'm not making a decision.
I already said, we said.
I would
ours.
recommend leaving it alone.
Okay. And then we skip to I from H. Did anybody have anything for H?
No.
Well, it's fine with me.
I don't have any problem with J.
So I know I'm gonna go back to I, and the only reason why I'm gonna go back, and I feel like a broken record, is that then you're going to maybe have somebody else that's sitting on the board saying, now Kara, you need to now change this, because I'm on the board and I have this availability to do this. That's what to me, that's what this statement is doing.
But they could do it anyway.
But Adam, no, they can't do it anyway, because they have to, that's one person doing it. Where at a meeting, you have to make a motion, you have to get a second, and that has to be fully voted on. That's why I'm saying that is different than having the secretary, that it is the secretary's responsibility for those minutes to do it, opposed to having Kara have every board member coming in going, nope, you need to change this, nope, you need to change this, because this gives that board member that authority to do it. Where instead of having one person that says, these are minutes, and then at the meeting, then they can be addressed after that meeting. It has started. That's where I'm saying, instead of having you go in and tell Kara, nope, I think we need to mark this, and you going in, and you going in, and Perry going in, and Kara going in, everybody's gonna, that's to me what that does. I could be wrong, but to me, that's what it is. You want one person at least having the minutes and saying, these are the minutes I'm presenting at the meeting, and then after that, we can address it. That's not addressing it at the meeting. This is addressing it, the minutes that I'm going to present. If I'm the secretary, this would be my minutes that I'm presenting for everybody to vote on and or to have a discussion on.
What are we gonna say, the library secretary or the library recording
Secretary, the recording secretary has no
She's not giving
problem.
them.
I
to
understand
approve
that, but that's her, she needs to get that changed. That's her, she needs to go in there or call and get that changed. As long as it says in here.
I'm not disagreeing with you in your theory and why you're thinking that. I'm disagreeing that when I read this, doesn't sound like that's the case to me. To me, it sounds like the library board determines how the public comments will be summarized, like in general. Like in general, we're not gonna spell it out word for word. Are we going to say that you put the person's name, the topic, and a little bit about what they talked about? Or are you just gonna say the topic? To me, it doesn't feel like it's saying that every library board member will read every public comment and say, no, you should change it, we didn't. It's like, to me, it sounds like it's a general decision.
Right,
by
but
the
what
board.
I'm saying that gives every board member that ability to go in there and change those minutes that are the secretary minutes before they've been
How public
approved.
comments will be summarized. It's not like actually, so maybe we just need to leave it in there, but make it clearer, like the library board as a whole will, like, the library board as a whole will decide, maybe initially like at the beginning of the year, like when you argue, how do we want our public comments summarized? Do we want to include the name, the topic, and a brief description of what the speaker talked about? That, to
Well, to
me,
me,
is what
you could add that on there.
that's what I'm saying.
That, I mean, at the end, you could say, you know, the name, the topic, and whatever this will be how it's denoted, but, I mean, I
That's
don't
what I
think.
feel like it means, that it doesn't sound to me, we're interpreting it differently. I don't disagree with you that every library board doesn't take every public comment and say, no, it should say this.
Right, but what I'm saying.
Because honestly, unless I'm taking like diligent notes, I'm not gonna remember what that public comment
And,
was
Just gotta go back to
included.
and the board member.
Back to the recording.
Well, we don't record our meetings. We don't record them. They're recorded by the public
Right.
sometimes, but they're not recorded to where we could just go back.
Right.
You know?
But that is something, I mean, you could, I'm just saying, if you go to any township, any municipality, that is all the discretion of the clerk, the recording secretary, and or the clerk that is taking those minutes of how they're presenting. If you go to the MTA and take a minute writing class, those are the clerk's minutes. How the clerk wants to do it, how the clerk wants to put. Now again, the rest of the board can put in input, but if you go to the MTA and go to the clerks, those are the clerk's minutes. Like nobody at Elba Township can change what that clerk, other than making a motion at a meeting and having support. That's why I'm saying there is a difference.
Why don't you find out what the attorneys say about that?
Doesn't need to be all that, I mean, just change the language to secretary and be done with it. I mean, we're spending a lot of time on something so simple at the county. If you look at the county's minutes, a lot of times all it said for public comment in the minutes is 6 people spoke at the first public.
Right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, Bill. I'm saying that's how I'm reading this, is that, so as a board, at some point, someone said, that's all we're gonna say is how many people spoke.
But still, okay, so
Or-
at the planning commission for Elba, we'll just say, we have two secretaries. One's the clerk and one's the deputy clerk. They both take minutes differently. It doesn't matter. The thing is they both are in charge of those minutes. Those are their minutes to do.
But they
Now
should
you
have a standard of what they go by. What I'm saying is I
They
want,
don't,
but I want to avoid a recording secretary saying this person's name, they talked about this, they said this board member this, and it's like
but
all the
this,
detail. And then this one is just,
whatever the recording secretary
Right.
writes,
but
but you have to tell that recording, whoever the secretary is, that's their responsibility to say, when you take minutes on public time, this is, I want the name, that you know, that is the secretary's responsibility, because you gotta remember, whoever the secretary is, whether it's you, it doesn't matter, those are your minutes, not the recording secretary. Those are your minutes, because who's signing it? Not the recording secretary, you are. So they have to be done how you want them to be done.
Okay, so maybe we do need to think about rewording it so it makes, so everybody that's reading this is interpreting it the same way. Because I'm still interpreting it. But we can ask the attorney to give us a brief.
Yeah, let's come back to this.
Okay. Okay, I'm fine with that. No problem with J, no recommendations.
Good with that. Case fine.
L needs to be enforced.
Yeah. Or taken down.
These are through K?
Well, you can't take them in the Capitol building.
Right.
Signs. All
This is all
signs are
signs are
prohibited
prohibited.
in the board meetings.
Right.
I think
So we need
should
to enforce
enforce
this.
that.
Get rid of this.
I think it's good because to me, then you don't know what could be on those signs. And then you might be picking and choosing what, you know,
Yeah, we're
oh,
trying to
this is a
keep-
good one, this one's a bad one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why,
yeah.
just if
Is
you.
that, it's pretty general though, at board meetings, does that mean inside, outside,
Inside.
just inside?
Yeah, that's what the board
Yeah.
meeting
They can leave them outside. Not necessarily stuck in the grass, I'm not saying that, like they're upright where they can be seen, they just have to lay them down. Well, I think it just depends on where you have the board meeting to find out what the rules of that facility
That's
is,
true too.
you know? Because like the library here, if you have a board meeting here, might not allow that.
They don't.
And so, I mean, to me, you have to be mindful of that facility of what you're doing too. You know, as a board member, you don't wanna have.
So are you guys saying, you have
Saying-
no recommendations to change the word?
Yeah.
Just leave it?
That all looks good to me.
Leave it, but enforce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those. Alright, we're on section 4.
Yes.
There's that teen library secretary. At least it says secretary on that board. Dang it, Ellie.
Well,
Get
because,
through a page. 2 pages.
because it is in the policy that, you know, when you're only went over the duties, that the duties can, unless delegated to the director or whatever. But it's hard to know if that happened, when it happened. I don't think any of that is documented unless you go back and look, you know, in minutes and stuff like that, so.
3 minutes, 20 years,
Yeah, exactly.
maybe 30.
So, you know, if you ask a question here, oh, well, it was that way, I'm not doubting that at some point someone can say, okay, we're gonna pass this on to you, you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna shift the
Or
duties.
we're gonna follow the
But
policy.
it's just, it's hard to know, so.
Yeah.
But even if it's been done that way, that, first of all, it doesn't mean that it's been done correctly or how it's
I
in writing.
agree with you.
And-
Back to what I've been saying all along.
And
We
or
either
can
gotta
be
take it out of the
changed.
policy, or we gotta enforce it.
Start calling it.
Right,
And I think we should follow our policy.
yep, that's
Really.
why,
Call me crazy.
no matter what it is.
It's not crazy. But maybe there should be a policy added that says if something is done that deviates from the policies, that it's somewhere, recorded somewhere and easily accessible to the board members, the
We
public,
could, or
whoever.
we just say, we have to follow our policy.
Yeah. Well, then,
And then if we don't
That's
like
what the goal
policy-
is that you're supposed to, or you, don't have it in as a policy,
Right,
that's the
exactly,
reason.
or you remove it.
Right.
If you hate policy.
Right.
It doesn't
Because
make
there's
any
some
sense.
that, you know, like, I'll just say like the COVID policy, you know, that was 5 years ago. So not all of that stuff applies to what
That's
happened
nice.
is applicable today.
Hurrah.
So, you know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, just because it's been done for 30 years doesn't mean that's applicable of what you need to have for today. And that doesn't mean it needs to go away just because, so
So then we might want
the
to,
reopening.
I'm gonna write that down as a question too for the attorney because then we might have to go back and revisit the bylaws again because isn't it in there, like the duties? The duties and it says that, it says unless designated to the.
Right, well, and the chair can always designate more duties to anybody, you know, I mean, that's just something that they can say, okay, you're assigned this task. So nobody can say that's not my job. It's just kind of a caveat at the end
Yeah.
of every job description and or assigned. I know it's not.
So that was the end of the blue policy for public comments.
Library reopening policy.
Do we wanna, do we wanna do that? My first one is the bulletin board. Do we wanna do that just so we kind of stay in order? Is your
Yeah,
first-
I honestly don't know what to do about this whole section because even if we have another pandemic or another issue that closes the library, I don't know, like this had cleaning protocols, it's social distancing, and a closing and reopening for any other thing is probably gonna look different than this.
I would
So,
say it would look polar different.
Yeah.
So it could, I mean, definitely there could be some things that would be maybe the same, but I just, you know, I think
It's
this
really just
was done at the time because of the situation we were
Right.
all in
Right,
and what we
Sure.
needed to do to get past that for reopening.
so this is probably just like a big NA. We have to.
Right.
If we have another pandemic,
But yeah,
for all the dead, since it's been about every 100 years. So it probably would apply well.
Because it does say reopening in policy plan in 2020, because it's.
yeah.
So do we want to do the bulletin board and pamphlet rack policy? Just that's the Where's first that? one.
Yeah, whereas the.
Yeah, I don't know, that's the first one of mine.
Probably disordered, but we can.
I mean, I just have,
Oh,
you don't
Yeah,
have
it's at
the,
the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because we skipped the public speaking. Yeah. So regulation phase,
It's gonna be problem with that.
article
it's just a
one.
general statement.
It's just, I don't know about the other branches, but ours is upstairs, so it's not in the library, and I think that's probably just because of space.
No,
Where it's
that's not
located.
allowed.
And because of the way ours is laid out, like.
Yeah, it's not bulletin boards typically available. We have that bulletin board.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that would, yeah, the bulletin board with there's a pamphlet rack upstairs. That has all that, so. So I guess that would be true for the bulletin boards, but the pamphlet rack is upstairs. C, I don't think there's a policy that's spent followed, because I've actually given stuff to be on the rack, and they have a designated staff member, not the director, that would approve it. No, I guess I can't say for sure that she didn't take it to the library director, but that's on C for approval. It definitely makes sense that there's at least a staff member that's approving, and you can't just come in and stick anything you want there.
Right, but shouldn't there be a form that you should have to fill out and then a follow-up, you know, whether it was approved or denied to that person? I didn't read the whole thing yet, but I was just listening to you. That
I just came back later and checked to see if it was there or not.
right, but
I did, but yeah.
yeah,
I get
I
what
think
you're
there
saying.
should be a form that you fill out so that.
So I'll make, let's make a note then that if it doesn't come up somewhere else,
Right.
that we would possibly add that.
Because then that way, to me, it's good for that person bringing that in, and then it's also good for the library, because then somebody can't say, well, that person never let me know, then they would have that opportunity to say, yes, I called, you just, you know, I left a message, blah, blah, blah. You'd have that
Yeah, I think
tracking.
it's a great idea.
So we're saying, fill out a form, have something posted, and get approval from the director.
Either, either
First
approval or denial, because if it's something that, you know, they
Right.
don't feel that it's appropriate, then they would just let you know that it was not approved. And then I would just, you know, have it where everything was dated and.
It's on D, it talks about dating.
It is, okay. Oh, that's just that it's dated, that they, probably when they got it, I would think. Mm-hmm. I think, the only thing I think that it should, try to think of how to word it. As far as, I don't know. Let me think about
What part are you looking at?
about E, just as far as, you know, just as the educational, cultural, intellectual, commercial notices. But I think it needs to be, and I can't, as far as making sure that it's not, you know, like anything explicit or any, and I did not come up with a verbiage that
Well, G, it says, any posting to violate Michigan law, or would cause the library to violate Michigan law.
Where at, Jen?
On G.
Oh, on G, okay. That would cover.
That would
what we're wanting
probably
to say.
cover it, yep, I think so.
Okay with all of it. So I just have a comment about the right of appeal. Since there is a right of appeal, I think it supports the idea that the trust should be in writing.
Right.
All the more reason.
Right, I agree, because I was thinking the same thing. It says the appeal letter, but that's after the fact.
Right.
So, but just saying that, you know, just as far as, you know, actually filling out that form. The appeal letter must indicate it is an appeal and be sent to the library director. Isn't that what you're talking about, a letter? In
Yeah,
writing
I'm just saying,
before that.
yeah, like, just to support adding that your request should be, like, item C for approval, that there's a form that gets filled out, I wanna post this, and then you get it back, either saying it was approved or denied, and why. Because then, since there is, you know, a policy for an appeal, I think that just supports the fact that there should be a written form when you submit something.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I'm taking it as they want you
Yeah, I
to
think
have
it's
a
in there.
letter. No, this is after the fact. So the appeal itself
Yeah.
is a letter.
Yeah.
Right, but it's
Also,
after the form. So the form is,
Right.
I'm
She's
just
not-
saying,
she's
a
not
form
saying-
and a letter?
No, what I'm
To
saying,
fill out a form.
no, what I'm saying
Not
is-
everybody's gonna appeal, Carol. So that's
Okay.
saying
No,
that I
I
have to
know.
appeal,
No.
so the.
All I'm
not
saying is
understanding.
that since there is the right to appeal, if I come in and I say, I want this on your pamphlet rack, and somebody says, no, we're not gonna put it on the pamphlet rack, and then I have a right to appeal that, all I have is, it's a he said, she said kind of thing. Well, I told you it was for this or that, and I told you why I denied it. What I'm saying is, since there is an appeal process, regardless of what that is, that supports that the asking and the
Initial.
approval should, the initial
Should be in writing.
approval should be in writing. That's all I'm saying.
Which just has basic information and. you know,
I
think it's redundant, is what I'm saying. I
oh,
think it's asking that already.
where?
Where? Well, just because the sentence is after that, it says the appeal letter must indicate it is an appeal and be sent to the library director.
Right.
You're not
Are you
appealing.
saying,
You want to avoid the he said, she said.
I'm saying back to C, it should be in writing.
Yeah.
She's saying in order to even request to put something in the rack, there's a form you fill out
Right.
requesting it. That gets turned in along with, a copy or whatever of what you want in there.
Sure.
And then,
Then if it's denied, they'd have to write on the form why it's denied.
and then that,
And then
Then you
That's
have the
what
right to. So it's a denial, approval or denial that you're looking
either way.
for. Either way.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about the way the right of appeal is written. I'm just saying that since there is an appeal process, that it makes sense that when you're asking for something to be.
How about the sentence before that, unless it's too late, such appeal shall be made within 10 business days of the decision in writing? Or
I don't have any issue with, section 4 or how it's written. I'm not saying we should change that at all. I think it's,
Oh, you're adding to it.
no, I'm adding to C.
C. Oh, you're back to C. Okay,
Yeah.
you kept referring to that, but I
Yeah,
wasn't getting that.
That's why I'm
You're right.
saying, I'm just saying that now that we are recognizing that there's a right of an appeal. That Section C should be a written process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about this.
Nope. No, I mean, it's fine.
I do too.
Okay. So the only thing I wrote in this whole section is for item C, there should be a form and in writing.
Right.
Me too.
I just put a spot, respond of appeal.
Okay.
Do we want to look at the reopening just to see if there's any general stuff that can be kept in there? I mean, who knows if,
I don't have a problem taking time to look it over.
I mean, we might have some general. Well, they might not, I mean, they might be able to open, but not, I mean, it might not be anything like COVID where they have to do cleaning protocols though. I mean,
Right, that's what I'm saying, it seems like this way.
right. Well, I can see, I like B, you know, and maybe that resuming library service before reopening to the public or non-official staff during the terms of reopening plan, the library will establish regulations.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Appeared library
I wonder if you
reopening.
I wonder if you got something different because,
Yeah, might be, it
this was-
says, the library director will also develop a protocol for addressing return material.
No, I just see that you have bullet points, no? I'm thinking you and I have the same one.
you guys probably have something maybe that was revamped, because you got yours just recently.
Right.
Or just recently had,
Oh.
print those
So
for
it
you.
should be the same.
Well, this, maybe these are no longer.
No? Oh, yours like Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we got
Yeah.
ours at the same time, so that's why I'm saying probably Bill's and mine
Are the same,
are, yeah.
and the three bars are probably the same.
I would, yeah,
Why would they be different?
they shouldn't be.
Right.
Just saying.
Well, maybe it was.
Does it
revamped
have-
Because this is
Okay,
specific to COVID,
so one,
and so maybe theirs is specific to anything.
one
I
thing
don't know,
that
I haven't seen theirs. so.
I have noticed that should also be added, is on each one of these forms, kind of like the bylaws, it should say approved by, because the board is still supposed to approve all of these policies. So it should have approved by the LDL board on this date.
It'd be helpful.
And then that
especially
way,
if something
if
like
my
this.
date was, we're just gonna say September 29th of 2025, and yours is 2024, yours would be the old outdated one, mine's gonna be the, or vice versa.
You're calling
But
me
on
old.
each one of
I had a birthday
these,
last week and you're calling me old, I get what you're saying.
I'm gonna be old here pretty soon
Happy-
too.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Welcome to the
birthday.
club.
Yeah, thank
And anybody
you. Mine's
else-
coming up, so mine's not.
Anyone that's having a birthday.
Yeah. I mean, I see that there's a couple of dates on here, but to me,
But
it
not
needs to
on
be
your-
on the actual
It doesn't
policy.
say revised, like at the very end,
Right.
at the bottom or anything.
But I wouldn't even have revised, this is, what this is right here is from the attorney. That's number, from an attorney. But at the end of the day, the bottom should say this, it was approved by the LDL board on this date, which would be the meeting date.
Yep.
So that way,
Everybody
Everybody
knows
knows
they have to revise
because-
one or not.
because this one could be the old one and yours could be the new one, or mine's the new one and yours is the old one, and we have no clue.
Right, I'm just assuming it's new one because it was printed later, but that could be.
Right, I mean, just like the bylaws on the website are not the updated one. So, but it has date, so that's the reason why you're able to see
Right. that's
what
what
ones
we're
are
doing.
newer and which ones aren't. Or at least the last I looked, I haven't looked in a while, but they were, not the updated ones.
So do we want to wait and figure out which is the current policy before we go through?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think so.
probably,
I'll make a note to ask Kara. Well, first of all, can I see yours? And
Yeah.
compare it to mine? Do you mind letting me borrow it?
no, not at all.
Okay. And then I will ask her.
Let me see. I wanted to see if it had, yeah, it has the stuff on there from, so an attorney had looked at it.
Okay. So. I will take a closer.
I'm
look at
shocked that
this.
none of them have that. I mean, to me, that should be on every single policy. See, like this one, well, not even total. It says most recent revision adopted, but it still say that the library board adopted it, but I mean, it doesn't so many, but this is April of 2017. So that one at least has. See, and this one does have board motion, but again, it doesn't say what date.
Here's this one. Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, you could do that. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have the board motion on there, you can, I mean, it just,
the date.
right.
Revision after. So that's maybe a discussion for the attorney. Like from moving forward, that we should have revision days.
Right, the date, and even if it's just the month and the year, so like, I mean, if you're not making any changes to it, to me, the only change, if it doesn't have it already, is to, you know, just show when it was approved originally. So, because then that way, here we could have said, oh, I've got the most updated version, we can work off of that one.
I agree. Just don't know how to make that happen unless we put it actually in a policy. Like if we make a policy.
Well, it's just, yeah, because it's just over.
Yeah. And would you want that in the policy or the bylaws or maybe both?
I just think it's a standard practice. I don't
Right.
even know if it has to be a policy. To me, it just is a standard practice that
Well, it
that's
is, but
how.
if you don't make it a policy, it's gonna depend on who's doing the revision. You know, if the manager makes the revision for us, or the attorney does, or.
I would check, because usually, like, if I have something that I have to do, the attorney already puts that on there for me to just fill in when, it's approved by my board. So I'm shocked that that wasn't on there before, you
Yeah.
know, to be completely honest. So, I mean, you could tell with the numbers that that's
Just have to
been reviewed by an attorney.
The next section I have is WIA. And it is quite long.
Yes.
And I know a lot of what's in here is governed by law.
Right.
So, I'm assuming everything in here is.
Right. Now, I have a question. So this is the general email. Who is looking at this email at this point? Do we know?
Teresa,
On page 2?
Teresa, she's the current FOIA coordinator.
So whoever the director is, they get that same exact email address, correct? That's just
I
a
hope so.
general email address? The director at lib.lapeer.org.
Oh,
So I
yes,
hope so.
yes.
I just wanna make sure
Well,
that
and
it
then they
wasn't.
also have their own, email address with their name, just like everybody else does.
But that's
It's
just
like
like
all
a
the-
general one
yeah.
that all the, yeah, cause we have
Yeah.
two, I have a general one and I have one
Yeah.
that just
And
goes
so
to
when
me as
there,
well.
when there is no director, then there's still a director email available.
That somebody's viewing it.
Right. I hope.
Yeah.
So, I would
Well,
assume that.
from what I'm seeing, FOIAs are being answered, so I don't know
Yeah.
if they're being emailed or.
Just as we have, like, the board members have their own emails, and then there is a general group email.
So do we know if these practices have been followed or are they charging for FOIAs or?
This is something I can go over with Teresa and Kara. You guys are,
The only reason why I'm asking is usually it's, it's on here what the fees are, so normally they're, unless something goes, let me see.
well, section 7 says waiver of fees, the first $20.
Right. Yeah, but you have to be indigent. It's not you just, or a nonprofit, so it's not just anybody. So the general public doesn't get that. And you have to show why. So the general public doesn't fall under that. It would be a nonprofit organization or somebody that is indigent.
Do we want, would it be proper to invite Teresa to a committee and have her go over it with us? Or how do you guys want to handle it?
No, it doesn't matter to you, I guess, but just making sure.
Because I don't know any of the answers
What?
to your questions, like if the fees are waived and who gets waived, I'm not gonna have any of those answers.
Right.
And,
I don't think we need her at a work meeting, but we might need a list of questions for her.
okay,
And we should be able to come up
So
with
you wanna
that.
do that
going
then?
through here. Yeah,
as far as this section, this whole section of FOIAs, I'll just take down questions.
Just find out,
Okay,
what our general practice, that's just what our general practice has been as far as documentation, charging for FOIAs. Again, if she is, reviewing the, email address that's on here. And I'm sure that the fax is probably available to everybody.
so we wanted just to describe the general process she uses for FOIAs.
Yeah.
Is she looking at the email that is listed?
Just make sure that none are being missed.
Right, right. And then we have questions about the cost.
Yeah, just as far as, because it doesn't state, sometimes, municipalities will say, oh, if it's emailed, if I'm emailing it, I'm not gonna charge
Right,
somebody.
yeah.
I'm not seeing that provision is in here, so to me.
One time, I got a FOIA to a township. They didn't give me a cost, they said it depends on how many documents there are, and how much time.
It's really time and
into it.
materials.
Yeah.
Right, because it's probably the person, the lowest wages of the person.
Right.
That
They
can do that
add up
job.
to
Right.
50% of that wage for benefits. Say if the lowest person is $20, so you're not.
So there's really no way to know the cost of something. There's a
Correct.
base fee.
No, I don't think there's.
Well, you can ask for a deposit, I think it's like a $50 deposit is what I see in here.
And then there's a question about waiving fees, but
Right.
that's outlined.
Well, because a lot of times if if somebody is, but I'm not seeing that is allowable in here. And that might be something we wanna change unless I'm missing it, and I could be missing it.
It's in here, waiver or reduction in fees.
No, I mean as far as like if it's emailed, a lot of times if you're emailing it, so there's no printing cost or paper cost, a lot of times then you don't charge for it, it's just sending it, via email.
You're looking for, reasons why it would be waived, like a specific
Right.
guidelines for waiving fees.
Right. Because if if it's being emailed, it's taking a little bit of time, but it's not, worth usually charging unless it gets quite, invasive as far as what they're asking for. But-
Right. But you don't ever want a circumstance where it's waived for one person
No,
and not the other.
oh no,
just
keep it
because-
consistent.
Yeah.
Because, it just says cost, but I thought maybe it would be in here, but I didn't see that, if it was emailed, there would be no printing fees. Because see, sometimes you still have to print it to be able to, scan it to send it, usually you can always save it. But there are still times where it
Yeah.
depends on what that document is
That was my circumstance, cost me $35 to get the documents I needed from the township. Not here, Parkson Township. And my son was buying a house and we wanted copies of the instructions that were done.
And I would imagine the actual form is online. I thought I looked and I didn't think I seen it. Because you're supposed to also have not only the procedures, but the form that needs to be filled out. I guess I can look again, but I didn't remember seeing it when I looked.
And there's the guidelines.
Well, this does have specifics for the waiver of fees of the first 20 hours.
That's what it sounds.
Yeah, just, I don't know how you're ever gonna get the read fee on page 11.
Well, and I'm on the next one, which is the written summary, which is the following one. But it does, it doesn't mention anything, I guess I should read the whole thing before I say that. But where it's under, what fees will the library charge, just as hourly time increments determining unreasonable fair cost, overtime, description, fringes, and then it's got printing, but nowhere does it mention that if it was emailed. Page 3 of the second document though, that it's the written public summary of the freedom guidelines, so
I think it's on,
procedures.
it's on the website, it's the FOIA policy, there's not a downloadable form that you fill out,
I didn't think I seen the form.
it's not there.
On the website,
Right.
this one here. We have the room until 5 and it's 10 to right now.
Okay.
So you guys know. I'm reading, under section 7, item, B, page 11. I can just read it if you want, it's going to find it. Public interest reduction or waiver. The FOIA coordinator may reduce or waive imposition of fees if the FOIA coordinator determines that a waiver reduction of the fee is in the public interest, because searching for or furnishing copies of the public record can be considered as primarily benefiting the general public. So, at the coordinator's discretion, I mean, how do you, that's just
Yeah,
so
that
vague in
discretion
general.
Thing is, yeah,
Yeah,
good.
so I don't know if that's, if that is a library thing or if that is a.
No, I think, I would say that's more general, only because
It's really,
it's very general. It is very general.
yeah. Well, I have the questions that you guys have asked so far. If you think of any others, just let me know as far as FOIA.
Well, my question to her would be, when you said how many days when you receive a FOIA?
It's in here. It's gotta be in here.
It should be in there, I haven't seen it yet.
Because you have 5 days and then you can ask for an extension.
Extension.
But if you're asking, like, is it the day you read the
You receive it,
email?
right,
Yeah.
Or
when you
is it
receive it,
the day
Well, yeah.
you decide
When do
to
you
print it
start
out
sending?
and start working on it?
right,
Or is the
Right.
day you thought about it for 3 minutes and then 2 seconds?
Yeah, no, I think it's, as long as it's within a business day, so like even if you got it at 4 o'clock, today would, I think it doesn't count.
on the
Let's
day
see,
you receive
it doesn't, yeah, so tomorrow would be day 1.
right,
And it's business days, not, Saturday and Sunday, or
Right.
holiday would not count.
That would be,
And then you just have to write a written request for an extension.
It says under procedures for responding to written FOIA requests, Part A, response. Unless otherwise agreed to in writing by the person making the request, the library shall respond to a request within 5 business days after it receives the request. So that tells me definitely if the day that you receive it doesn't count.
Correct.
yeah. And
It starts the
shouldn't,
day after, right?
because
But it doesn't matter if you get it
end
at
of the day.
8 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
but it can't sit in your, read the email, it can't sit in your email for
No.
a week before you respond.
No, because that still counts as the day that you
And then,
received it.
then what about if you have questions about it? Is the time still ticking along?
Yes.
Okay.
It's still taking. And you still have the availability, because you don't have to create a document. I mean, that, if I ask for the Lions or, from the librody, that's not something they keep, so they would just deny that request. As,
Sure.
I'm just saying,
Right.
something funny to be silly. Most of the
Not me, if
stuff.
I was a FOIA coordinator, I just tell them.
I know. And a lot of it,
I
to be
create a
completely
request.
honest, it's, that's why I think a lot of it, and actually having that where there isn't a cost because it gets to be so, there's a lot to all of this stuff you have to, if you're gonna be charging and, you know, charging by the penny here and looking for these hours here. I still think it should be done, but I'm just saying that a lot of times that's where they waive all those charges. I didn't see anything about emailing, but to me, you know, like if somebody was saying, yep, I'll take it by email because I don't wanna incur the printing cost,
Should be less cost.
to me, that should be, you know, a no-brainer. You know, there isn't any cost
As
involved.
long as it's consistent with
Correct,
every request.
right. And most of this for the FOIA is gonna be standard for everybody because it's, you know, how everybody has to do it.
Yeah.
The final FOIA.
Well, I will try to get the answers to those questions before next meeting. I'll read this. Just so we know. No, it wasn't me asking. Someone else had asked me about what our mission statement was and officially. And that's all.
Oh, for the library. Yeah, I think, and that doesn't mean that,
That didn't direct us.
yeah, that the mission statement can't be adjusted either, so. But to me, I guess, I know we could look at this, but I do believe, shouldn't the library director be part of this? Just,
Well, this is an old one, so, and it was,
Right.
like I said, it was, Danielle had planned to hire a company to do another one, and that's on hold, so yes, that, the director will probably do that. But I just thought it would just be good for us to know. what-
I'm just saying, yeah, I agree, I'm just saying as far as like
Just for
doing
informational
anything.
purposes, not that we need to do anything with it, or say you agree or disagree, just for information. Everyone good to
Adjourn?
close the meeting at 4:53 p.m.
We all had a memory of steel.
That's much. That ain't more.
30 years
Right
ago.
after that last birthday.
Is it a big one?
No.
Oh.
68.
Oh. Yes.
Still a kid.
Big one.
Yeah.
What's the big one?
80? Well, as you get older, the big one gets bigger.
It goes
Oh,
further.
right,
It
yeah.
does.
Do you have a question, Ken?
Yeah. Last Thursday, I asked you if the gentleman would speak up. The response was, well, maybe I could sit somewhere else. The meeting before that, there were several people asked that the gentleman speak up. Friday, I went to library administration and I said, hey, can you get some sound equipment in there because we've got table talkers, chess smugglers. Now,
First,
there's-
can I
wait.
correct you on what I said? What I said, you said, I don't wanna move closer because I'm afraid I'll be.
And I finally moved up here.
And I said, don't worry about that. If you need to move closer, please move closer. And I also said, you could move over here because you're behind them. So,
But
I just wanted to
there's that
clarify
other-
that.
When the room was full at the first meeting I attended, there was several people going, what did he say, what did he say, what did he say? Finally, the lady called Gigi spoke up and said, hey, can you get him to speak up, please? The library informed me that they had sound equipment, they could put mics on for you and a PA speaker. They couldn't force you to use it, that was up to you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
I
there's
suggest some
times,
hearing aids.
there's times, the road noise and truck noise out here, you can't tell whether he's talking or not. There were several times the carts were clacking wheels and it drowned you out. I'm telling you, accommodations need to be made
Do you
for
have-
the people.
Do you have a problem with sitting here, like at the end? So I'm trying to accommodate you when you're walking away. Like, I definitely want you.
But you
here
don't
this
have, you
time.
don't, if there's 25 people show up at this meeting, you don't have room for everybody to sit on somebody's lap and listen. It's as simple as putting a mic on the table for people to use.
Well,
and a
so
little-
are you asking if
Yes.
Mike can use it? Then why
That
don't
was
you just
that was
ask
my
me that
intention
way?
when I said, could you get them to speak up? And it was like, well, you can move over here. Well, no, you're supposed to be able to hear in a public meeting.
I don't care if there's a microphone, so if Kara can give us one, I have no problem using it.
You know, 2 meetings in a row, people have said, speak up.
And the last meeting, I said you are welcome to move closer, and you chose no.
But everybody that's in a meeting can't move up and sit on somebody's
Everybody's
lap to
not
hear.
complaining.
Peggy, have you taken the ADA class yet that I
You're
recommended?
not
Because I
listening to
highly
the
recommend that you
rules,
take
like,
it.
what did he say?
Those are your
What did he say?
responsibilities.
What did he say?
And why is that, Karen?
You have
Because
Title
I
II responsibilities under the law.
Yes, I know that.
Okay.
I know that.
I
To
don't think,
accommodate,
based
to
on how you're
accommodate people
responding, yes, based on how you're responding to Ken, I don't think you've taken the class. And if you have, then please take it again because you didn't get it.
to accommodate him, he asked if he could move closer, and I said, yes, you can move closer.
I have it
and
all
you
on
can move
film.
here.
I have it all on film.
I know you
Peggy.
do, Karen.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, I know you have it all on film, everything.
I must admit, I find it very hard to hear.
Okay.
We
and
all
did,
do.
And did you hear what I told him? If she brings a microphone,
Yes.
I don't have a problem using it. Like I don't. I'm not trying to.
But the
like,
responsibility is
I
actually
am
on
not
you.
trying to.
I'm not supposed to
Make
supply
him-
your sound equipment for your meeting.
I didn't say you had. You said Kara would supply it, right? You asked her. And
I
Kara
asked
said
the
she would.
administration office, they said they would pass it up the line, somebody would talk to you and let you know there was sound equipment available, but they couldn't force you to use it.
And when they do, when they say, we have sound equipment available, would you use it? I will say yes.
You know, 2 meetings,
So-
2 meetings in a row now, people have said, speak up, please speak up, we can't hear you.
I didn't hear anybody saying that today.
Well,
Not
that's because
today.
we were being polite. We were being
That's a
polite.
switch.
I'm not trying to make it so that nobody can hear, just to understand, like, I
When
don't-
someone
I
asks you
don't
for an
think-
accommodation, that is not a good response. I'm asking you to take that class again if you've taken it.
what, the response I gave?
Yeah, the response you gave.
Well, no, the response I gave, what he was saying, last week I did this and this happened. And I was correcting him because last week, you said, so I was assuming when you asked, can I move forward?
Oh, trust me, I know I'm a
With-
pain in everybody's ass, and I wish I would go away.
No, but now you're trying to make it, you're trying to make it sound like that's how I'm responding to you.
But when I go,
Last
"Cannot hear
week when you said, can you ask them to speak up? I asked them to speak up, and you said I would move closer. You said I would move closer. I would move closer, but don't want you to think I'm what word did you
Invading
use?
your space.
Invading your space.
Oh, I've been through
And
that
what was
stuff.
my response to you? I said, you are welcome to move closer. I would not feel that you were invading my space. And I said, it might be helpful if you moved over here.
2 of us moved up behind
Because,
him, and
yeah,
still
but
we
I
couldn't
also
hear
invited you to
everything he
move
said.
over here so that
So
you could hear there.
but I'm still sitting 10 feet away from him
So
while
if
he's looking
I'm-
in his
if I'm-
chest and mumbling because he has no
If I'm
backbone.
being accused of not being ADA compliant, I would like to know.
I'm just
Because
telling you,
I said
this
you could
place
move
needs-
over here
This place
because
needs to be
then,
wired for sound.
because
We're
he's
all not
this
20
way,
years old
and then you
anymore.
could have heard. That's why I suggested that.
I just want to put one more thing on the
And
record
then
here.
if you do still need a microphone after you've sat everywhere, I'll use a microphone.
No.
I don't
He
mind.
is telling you he wants amplification, you need to do amplification. And John DeAngelis needs to never tell someone again to get a hearing aid. That was an inappropriate comment as
I am
well.
not John DeAngelis.
I know, but he is on your
And I am
committee.
talking about
You are
the
no way
last
to come to
He
meeting.
is on your committee.
That is not even fair. That's not even fair. Right, now, you
It's the
wanna
board.
talk
A board
about,
member
you wanna
says,
talk
"Get a
about
hearing
being
aid."
ADA compliant, I'm talking to you about that, but I'm not gonna talk to you about anything else, because I do wanna be ADA compliant. And I appreciate that if you couldn't hear, and I said that if you moved over here, perhaps, we didn't have a microphone at the time, but you probably could have heard them
I'm
better.
going to point something out to
But
you.
now you have told me that Kara said she has a microphone that we can use. I do not have a problem using it.
I'm going to
Not
point
at
something
all.
out to you. I'm going to be real blunt about it. After I asked that they speak up, I still had to haul my ass up and sit behind him and still couldn't hear everything he was mumbling into his chest.
And I also offered for you to sit on the other side.
It doesn't
But I'm
make-
still
But
sitting
I
12
do
feet away
understand
from
what
him
you're
while he's
saying,
mumbling
like,
it
into
doesn't
his
You
make
should
chest.
be able to sit
difference
wherever
which
you
side you
want.
sit
You should
on.
be able to sit wherever you want. And if a microphone will help, I will get.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
doesn't
God.
make a
And
difference.
I will tell
Side
you,
you sit on.
I have no problem.
a lot of the people are a lot more docile and polite than I am. You know me from meetings. I will speak up, be it a county meeting, a library board meeting. I don't care. I will jump into anybody's face. I will ask anything. If I'm corrected, I will stand corrected and apologize. But I'm telling you, there's other people that cannot hear what those two are mumbling into the table
It doesn't,
during a meeting.
it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 5, if you can't hear, we need to make sure that you can hear, and I will, I mean, I don't know what else to do other than tell you that if Kara has a microphone available, I will use it.
And I'm sorry, common sense. 2 meetings in a row, somebody goes, can you get those two to speak up? I'm sorry, that should be a hint.
Did you have questions?
No, I'm just following you.
Oh, okay.
You don't wanna bring it.
No.